What's up guys, welcome back to Shifting Lanes and thanks for joining me for another video. Today, we're talking about Volvo ownership. I have owned this car, my 2005 Volvo V70R, for over 2 years now, and I've been a Volvo owner in general for over 2 years now. And today, I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. So if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that way you're notified every time we make a new video. As you can see, it is an absolutely beautiful day here in northern New Jersey, and I thought I would take you for a little drive. I'm actually here on one of my favorite back roads in the area where you can see amazing mansions. It's got great curves to it, cars are flying by. It's just a really, really nice scenic road, and it happens to be on the way to one of my favorite local coffee and pastry shops. So I thought I'd take you for a drive, show you exactly what a back road here in northern New Jersey looks like, because a lot of people, I think, misconstrue northern New Jersey as just this pit of America, but it's actually quite beautiful. And I would tell you about how my last 2 years of Volvo ownership have been. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is because we're big into Volvos here on Shifting Lanes, and you know, we may not own Volvos on the channel forever. I mean, we obviously have a project Volvo V70R, we have a Volvo 240, we have an S60R, we have a C30, and I also have a personal XC90 that I also feature on the channel sometimes. So yeah, we love Volvos here, but the thing is, you know, Volvo is great and the community is amazing, but maybe we want to branch out. Maybe the channel will grow enough that we can get Ferraris and Lamborghinis and stuff, you know, eventually. So that would be kind of cool. But I wanted to make this video because if you're watching this, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now, and you're wondering what it's like to own Volvos, or own this car in particular, or any Volvo that, you know, I think we have a good wide range of variety here, this video might be helpful to you. So let's go for a little drive and I can kind of chat about exactly what I'm talking about. So let's first talk about this car in particular. This is my Volvo V70R, it's 2005, and I absolutely love it. When I first bought this car, I always liked Volvos. I basically loved them ever since they were in British Touring Car Championships back in the 90s when they brought the 850 wagon, which I thought was really, really cool. But I never had owned one, and I never really had got into ownership of one. And this car made me fall in love with the brand, the community. I've made several videos on how I love Volvos as a whole, as a company, and you can just go to the Shifting Lanes channel and search them. You can probably find them. To me, this car is what embodies Volvo a lot. Now, I understand that this car was owned by, well, Volvo was owned by Ford when this Volvo was made, but I really think that this Volvo encompasses a lot of what Volvo really means. You know, sneaky enthusiasm, comfort, well-designed, beautiful. I think this is one of the most beautiful wagons ever made. I maintain that to this day, and I probably will always think that. So yeah, this car is really what made me fall in love with Volvo as a whole. A lot of other enthusiasts probably fell in love with Volvo back when the 240 came out. You know, that was the original turbo brick, where you can get a Volvo 240 turbo, and you could basically go faster than a lot of other cars and tune it and whatnot. And Volvo really became, you know, the safety brand in that time too, where you could buy a Volvo 240 and get into an accident or a crash, and you would come out pretty much unscathed because Volvo was really upping the game as far as safety is concerned. This car has been, I guess I can sum up all of Volvo ownership as a beautiful struggle. I think that's a great term to use when you're talking about Volvo. There's a lot of enthusiasm. A lot of people love these cars a lot, and so do I. The thing is, they're not crazy reliable in the sense of the fine tuning. They have very reliable engines, and yes, even the white blocks are pretty reliable if you do regular maintenance. But the fine tuning in these cars, the electronic gremlins, the little, you know, things here and there that kind of crop up, it's not really well made in that sense. Overall, the car is very well made. It's solid, it's safe, it's fast, it's fun, it sounds amazing. But, you know, again, the fine tuning isn't great. And I think that that's kind of a hallmark for a lot of Volvos from this generation on, even back in the P80s and some in the 90s. You can find a lot of reliable Volvos out there, which I think is great. but you're gonna have a bit of a problem overall with some of the like fine tuning and fine details. And of course, as I pull into the parking lot, XC90R design, very nice. So I've pulled up, that is the coffee shop over there. It's called Coco Lux. It's very, very good. Now, this car, we talked a little bit about the quality. The quality, honestly, I think is pretty good. There are a couple things here and there that you want to watch out for. The engine does crack its cylinder walls, which is a very known issue in the white blocks, especially in this generation. The tires sometimes rub on the inside if you want to upgrade your tires to a larger size or something like that. These do not, because they have spacers on it. A lot of the electronics inside, they kind of are a little wonky, and the car has a lot of creaks and crackles. But overall, I mean, other than that, if you can live with all that stuff, which to me really isn't that big a deal, you have a really, really amazing enthusiast wagon. Now, we talked about quality. I think the quality is overall pretty good on this car. Talk about price. I picked this car up for $9,500, which I mentioned in my last video, which you can see in the card above, or one of my last videos, which you can see in the card above. I talked about overall cost. Now, this car overall, it cost me $34,000 to $35,000 with everything put in. Now, we make money here on this YouTube channel and we roll it back into our cars. We actually take $0 for ourselves. So that's where a lot of the money has come from for this. If you're just gonna buy one of these for yourself, you can find these well sorted for $5,000 to $10,000 all day long. And if you want to buy sort of a heap and fix it up, you can find one for between $2,000 and $4,000 pretty much, again, all day long, which is kind of nice. The S60Rs are pretty competitively priced to this as well, so you can pick up a really, really nicely sorted car for around $5,000 to $10,000. And what I would do is budget about $2,000 to $3,000 more on top of whatever you get to stage zero this car, which is an awesome term I learned through the Volvo community. It's basically to give a full refresh to the car itself. Well, this is a really nice angle. It looks so good right now, other than it being absolutely disgusting and dirty. Stage zero is basically new spark plugs, new coil packs, refresh the entire engine as far as filters is concerned, new oil change, maybe do a transmission flush, maybe an automatic, just all that stuff. Anything you would do for like your basic tune-up, quote unquote, but then go for, you know, go further than that. There's a bunch of good articles on it. I actually wrote an article for FCP Euro on it. You can go search FCP Euro Stage Zero Volvo on Google and it'll come right up. It's the first thing, and that will tell you exactly what you need to do to stage zero your car. So as far as cost is concerned, you can have a very well sorted, beautiful mid-2000s wagon just like this for around $5,000 to $10,000, which I think is an absolute steal. All right, now that I have my coffee, I can talk to you about the next thing, which is value. Now, the value of these things, it's a debatable question or a debatable topic, but the value of these things is actually going up recently. And over the last 2 years, I was tracking these cars price-wise from 3 years ago to now. You could pretty much find them exactly the same price 3 years ago. But if you look at different things like auctions and clean examples, this one isn't a super clean example, but this one still would fetch probably between, I don't know, with all the work done to it, probably between $15,000 to $17,000 right now as it stands. But if this was a pristine, low mileage example, it could fetch upward of $20,000. Now, you've seen auctions on things like Bring a Trailer and all of these sites, even eBay, of really, really well sorted examples going for $14,000, $15,000. Now, within the community, they do fetch more of a premium. And this is one of the few communities where modifying the car actually does make it a little bit more valuable because of the engine cracking its cylinder walls. You do get, if you shim that block, that's actually, it increases it in value, even though you're modding it, because even on stock tunes, some of these do blow their engines. But not only that, let's talk about value in a sense of rarity, because these things are already rare in and of itself. The Magic Blue Atacama combo that I have basically is a one of maybe 20 example ever to exist in the United States. Now, they only imported 3,407 of these V70Rs to the United States as a whole. So already the wagon version of this car is extremely rare. You also see in the community, on the forums, on the Facebook groups, people parting these cars out almost every week. So you're talking about 2 to 3 cars gone every week from this entire allotment. My estimation, from what I've tried to gather, I think that there's less than half of these things left in the United States. So you're talking about maybe 1,700 to 1,500 of these, or 1,500 to 1,700 of these left in the country, and that is crazy to think about, because this generation, that makes this rarer than most Lamborghinis. Like, that's nuts. So value, I think, over time, over the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see value for these cars, specifically the V70R wagon, the wagon version, go up tremendously. I think in 3 to 5 years, this will be an over $20,000 car, hands down, as it sits today. Next topic, maintenance. Maintenance. If you're gonna get one of these old cars, learn how to do work on your own car, because it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to do it through a shop or a dealer. I've learned that they don't gouge you. It's just a Honda Civic costs less than an old Volvo at a dealership or an old shop. Learn how to do the work yourself. An example was, I needed new fuel injectors for this car when this car was basically not starting, sputtering out, and we found out that a cylinder wall, or a full cylinder, was being completely flooded by a bad injector stuck open, and the car wouldn't start at all. And that service, just for the fuel injectors, nothing else, was $1,400 from the dealer and $1,200 from a local shop. So yeah, $200 savings, but that you can get those injectors online from basically any shop that sells Volvo parts for like 60 bucks a piece, and do the work yourself. It's an 8-hour job. That's it. Like, that's an insane amount of savings. That's like $900 to $1,000 worth of savings right there. It's crazy. So learn to do the work yourself. I've learned that. I know that it's obviously cheaper through being a car enthusiast, but definitely learn to do the work yourself on these old cars, especially the old Volvos, and get your parts from fcpeuro.com, because this isn't a sponsored video by them, but they've sponsored us in the past, and they have an awesome customer service team. They have a lifetime warranty for all their parts, and yeah, if those injectors go bad, like years down the line, you can send them back and get new ones for free. So fcpeuro.com is awesome for that, and I truly believe in them as a company and that business model, because it's amazing. Brakes wear out, send them back for free. Again, this one isn't sponsored. This is sort of a freebie that I'm giving them, because I think that the company and their model is awesome. So yes, get your parts from fcpeuro.com if you're going to do old Volvos. Enthusiasm, 300 horsepower stock. You can get them up to 500 pretty easily with a good amount of money. They sound like this. Enthusiasm is off the charts. Let's talk about daily drivership, or the ability to daily driver this car. This car in particular, in the Volvo community, is really a good daily driver. When it doesn't have a really loud exhaust and a crazy tune and all this engine work to build it up to 450 horsepower, it's 300 horsepower stock, and it's relatively quiet while still sounding pretty good. Still having that baby V10 sort of kind of sound, but a lot more, muffled. It's quiet in here normally. I had one that was stock. Obviously, this one was stock at one point, and they just are really good, competent cruiser cars. They are very good at doing the daily commute. The automatics, a little bit weak in the transmission department, but you get an automatic of this car, just like any other automatic, it's going to be a really, really good daily driver. And the manual, I took to very well. The M66 transmission, it's very easy to learn and negotiate. The shifts are very close together. The actual gate is really, really close, apart from other cars that I've owned, like a Subaru WRX. Ooh, 2002. Nice. Overall, being a daily driver, these things are absolutely fantastic. With their comfort, sport, and advanced modes, you can kind of attack a back road while still having that sportiness that you really want. It's a really just a good, competent daily driver. And if you're looking for a cheap one that you can, kind of tool around town in, this is a great car to buy. Just so you guys know, this is what most of northern New Jersey looks like. Great back roads. Awesome scenery, and just beautiful. Like, check this out. Now, I mostly have been talking about my experience with this car here being my V70R, of course. And that's basically what a lot of my knowledge, you know, for this brand sort of comes by. Because, whoa, that's dark, let's not do that. Because this is the car I've owned the longest, but overall, my Volvo ownership has been really, really good. With the XC90, it's been flawless. The 240 is still new, so still getting into that car. Our S60R has had some issues along with our C30, but the problem is the C30 had issues because it's being modded, and the S60R also has issues because it's being modded. And there are a little, you know, quirks here and there that haven't really been that great for Hansen and his S60R. But again, this is, if you buy a cheaper one, you're gonna have more problems more than likely. If you buy a more expensive one that's well sorted, you're gonna have a little bit less problems. With that being said, overall, my Volvo ownership has been really good. I will always own a Volvo, and I made a video about why. And it's basically because of you guys. The community is the last thing I wanna talk about really quick, because I've already made a video on that. A lot of you have seen it. It's over 100,000 views. Basically, the community is amazing. It's the best car community I've ever been a part of. And I come from the Subaru world, which is still a good community, but there's a lot more, you know, riffraff in that community, if you will, as opposed to the Volvo community. It's tighter, it's nichier, it's very, very close, you know, closely bound, essentially. And you guys have been amazing. So the community is the last thing I want to talk about. If you get a Volvo, community is amazing. Definitely, definitely get on the forums, get on the Facebook groups, and just talk to people, because you guys are awesome. If you walk away from your car and don't turn back and smile, buddy, you bought the wrong car. So thank you guys so much for watching. That will do it for today's video. Shift Squad, if you liked it, hit the thumbs up. You know what to do. Be sure to share this video and subscribe. Yeah, that's it. My 2 years of Volvo ownership have been awesome. And if you're considering it, definitely do it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us at Shifting Lanes on all social media. And I will catch you next time. See ya.